Hello Internet, Andrew Potter back again for another episode of Life of Pi. Today I will be reading chapters 28, 29, and 30 as they're all fairly short. And I didn't want to read 4 chapters in one video because in case there's a lot of, while they're short chapters, maybe there's a lot of stuff that I do want to talk about in the moment. I decided to not spread myself too thin that way. So let us get started with that. I loved my prayer rug. Ordinary in quality though it was, it glowed with beauty in my eyes. I'm sorry I lost it. Wherever I laid it, I felt special affection for the patch of ground beneath it and the immense and immediate surroundings, which to me is a clear indication that it was a good prayer rug because it helped me remember the earth is the creation of God and sacred, the same all over. The pattern, in gold lines upon a background of red, was plain. A narrow rectangle with a triangular peak at one extremity to indicate the Qibla, the direction of prayer. The little curlicues floating around it, like wisps of smoke or accents from a strange language. The pile was soft. When I prayed, the short, unknotted tassels were inches from the tip of my forehead at one end of the carpet and inches from the tip of my toes at the other. A cozy size to make you feel at home anywhere upon this vast earth. I prayed outside because I liked it. Most often I unrolled my prayer rug in a corner of the yard behind the house. It was a secluded spot in the shade of a coral tree, next to a wall that was covered with bougainvillea. Along the length of the wall was a row of potted poinsettias. The bougainvillea had also crept through the tree. The contrast between its purple bracts and the red flowers of the tree was very pretty, and when that tree was in bloom, it was a regular aviary of crows, mynas, babblers, rosy pastors, sunbirds, and parakeets. The wall was to my right at a wide angle ahead of me, and to my left, beyond the milky, molted shade of the tree, lay the sun-drenched open space of the yard. The appearance of things changed, of course, depending on the weather, the time of day, the time of year, but it's all very clear in my memory, as if it never changed. I faced Mecca with the help of a line I scratched into the pale yellow ground and carefully kept up. Sometimes, upon finishing my prayers, I would turn and catch sight of father or mother or Ravi observing me, until they got used to the sight. My baptism was a slightly awkward affair. Mother played along very nicely, father looked on stonily, and Ravi was mercifully absent because of a cricket match, which did not prevent him from commenting at great length on the event. The water tricked down my face and down my neck. Though just a beaker's worth, it had the refreshing effect of a monsoon rain. And that's the end of chapter 28. Just going through, the beginnings of his practice of all 3 religions. Nothing immaculate, nothing amazing, but I think, a needed chapter for someone like myself who's not as familiar with all of these practices of these different religions to walk me through the very basics of what they are. Again, I think that's great. Chapter 29. Why do people move? What makes them uproot and leave everything they've known for a great unknown beyond the horizon? Why climb this Mount Everest of formalities that makes you feel like a beggar? Why enter the jungle of foreignness where everything is new, strange, and difficult? The answer is the same world over. People move in the hope of a better life. Yes, I agree with that. I think people want, the only reason people move is for a better life or to get away from a life that they're not happy with. The mid-1970s were troubled times in India. I gathered that from the deep furrows that appeared on Father's forehead when he read the papers, or from snippets of conversation that I caught between him and Mother and Mamaji and others. It's not that I didn't understand the drift of what they said, it's that I wasn't interested. The orangutans were as eager for chapatis as ever. The monkeys never asked after the news from Delhi. The rhinos and goats continued to live in peace. The birds twittered, the clouds carried rain, the sun was hot, the earth breathed. There was no emergency in my world. Miss Gandhi finally got the best of Father. In February 1976, the Tamil Nadu government was brought down by Delhi. It had been one of Miss Gandhi's most vocal critics. The takeover was smoothly enforced. Chief Minister Karunanidhi's ministry vanished quietly into resignation or house arrest. And what does the fall of one local government matter when the whole country's constitution has been suspended these last 8 months? But it was to father the crowning touch of Miss Gandhi's dictatorial takeover of the nation. The camel at the zoo was unfazed, but that straw broke father's back. I like that play. You know, it's true, these animals probably would not care about these events, but his dad does. So that nice play of the camel at the zoo was unfazed, but that straw broke father's back. I like that. He shouted, "Soon she'll down to our zoo and tell us that her jails are full. She needs more space. Could we put Desai with the lions?" Morarji Desai was an opposition politician. I do like that. No friend of Miss Gandhi's. It makes me sad, my father's ceaseless worrying. Miss Gandhi could have personally bombed the zoo. It would have been fine with me if father had been gay about it. I wish he hadn't fretted so much. It's hard on a son to watch his father sick with worry. But worry he did. Any business is risky business, and none more so than small b business, the one that risks the shirt on its back. A zoo is a cultural institution, like a public library, like a museum. It is at the service of the popular education and science, and by this token, not much of a money-making venture, for the greater good and the greater profit are not compatible aims, much to father's chagrin. I don't know if it's just because it's on two separate lines that it's messing me up, but chagrin. The truth was, we were not a rich family. Certainly not by Canadian standards. We were a poor family that happened to own a lot of animals, though not the roof above their heads, or above ours for that matter. The life of a zoo, like the life of inhabitants in the wild, is precarious. It is neither big enough a business to be above the law, nor small enough to survive on its margins. To prosper, a zoo needs parliamentary government, democratic elections, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of association, rule of law, and everything else enshrined in India's constitution. Impossible to enjoy the animals otherwise. Long-term, bad politics is bad for business. People move because of the wear and tear of anxiety, because of the gnawing feeling that no matter how hard they work, their efforts will yield nothing, but what they build up in 1 year will be torn down in 1 day by others. Because of the impression of that the future is blocked up, they might do all right, but not their children. Because of the feeling that nothing will change, that happiness and prosperity are possible only somewhere else. The new India split to pieces and collapsed in father's mind. Mother assented. We would bolt. It was announced to us one evening during dinner. Ravi and I were thunderstruck. Canada. If Andhra Pradesh, just north of us, was alien, if Sri Lanka, a monkey's hop across the strait, was the dark side of the moon, imagine what Canada was. Canada meant absolutely nothing to us. It was like Timbuktu, by definition a place permanently far away. Ooh, moving. As a military brat, I know a fair bit about that. Yeah. I don't know, I find there's two types of people that deal with moving. There's those who dealt with it the way I dealt with it, and those who dealt with it the way my sister dealt with it. For my sister, it was almost nothing. You know, it was, as soon as she moved there, she had, like, you know, that next day, she had 3 best friends kind of thing. Like, it was easy for her. She grabbed on right away. For me, it was a slower process. It was a longer process. It took time for me to get used to the place, for me to get used to people, and gradually, slowly, I did. But it was never easy for me. Socializing has never been my forte. It's never been a great thing for me. I don't people well. I mean, that's why I own tons of books and I run a YouTube channel, so I don't have to people. But yeah, so I don't know which one. I feel like Ravi would be more like my sister, and I feel like Ravi will adapt to the situation very quickly and make lots of friends. Whereas Pi, I think, will take longer, and I think he'll slowly gain more friends, but it'll take longer for him before he's ever, you know, used to it or anything like that. And chapter 30. He's married. I'm bent down, taking my shoes off when I hear him say, "I would like you to meet my wife." I look up, and there beside him is Miss Patel. "Hello," she says, extending her hand and smiling. "Piscine has been telling me lots about you." I can't say the same of her. I had no idea. She's on her way out, so we talk only a few minutes. She's also Indian, but has a more typically Canadian accent. She must be second generation. She's a little younger than him, skin slightly darker, long black hair woven in a tress, bright dark eyes, and lovely white teeth. She has in her arms a dry-cleaned white lab coat in a protective plastic film. She's a pharmacist. When I say, "Nice meeting you, Miss Patel," she replies, "Please make it Meena." After a quick kiss between husband and wife, she's off on a working Saturday. The house is more than a box full of icons. I start noticing small signs of conjugal existence. They were there all along, but I hadn't seen them because I wasn't looking for them. He's a shy man. Life has taught him not to show off what is most precious to him. Is she the nemesis of my digestive tract? "I've made a special shootney for you," he says. He's smiling. No, he is. Ooh, okay. So that answered some questions then, or at least debunked something for me. So that means that because that was another one of the italics chapters. So that means that they are not from Piscine's point of view, they are from another character's point of view. I want to assume it's someone that we've already been introduced to, but again, who could that be? That could only be his parents or Ravi. That would make sense. Or one of the Mr. Kumars. But other than that, I don't know. It's someone who's meeting Piscine, or has met Piscine. I don't know. But I like it. I like that I don't know. Usually I don't like that I don't know, but this time I like that I don't know, and that I know. So that is it for this video. As always, if there was something in there that you wanted me to comment more on, feel free to comment that below. Otherwise, feel free to like and subscribe to this video if you want to keep updated on more of this series, or check out one of my other series. I've done a series of my Immortal videos, and I'm working on a series of the Night Circus videos. So if either of those sound interesting to you, feel free to comment and watch those, or subscribe to the channel, anything you like. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. Have a good one.